Hi, welcome to Navigating the Truth. And this week, my special guest is Derek Conduit, who will be sharing his knowledge of shungite and beekeeping. Enjoy the show.
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed. Will you be ready? And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hello and welcome to Navigating the Truth. You know, I just love that music. That music just kind of gets everything ready, gets me ready. Big thank you to Tina Marie for putting the music together. And hello listeners, and this lovely Sunday. It's nighttime here in Scotland and it's morning there in Vegas. And I have a wonderful guest for us today. I have Derek Conduit. And let me tell you about Derek. Derek originally is from the US state of California. Derek has acquired a wide range of experience. Let me see here. Something going on with my computer here, folks. Hang on. Okay, I got it. He has a wide range of experience to draw from. He spent 4 years in the US Army, where he was stationed in Mannheim, Germany. After leaving the Army, he then became a commercial deep-sea diver, where he would work subsurface on oil platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. After a time, Derek moved on to manage a retail sporting goods store, worked as a contractor for Microsoft, then ended up spending nearly 16 years as a Washington State correctional officer, all before pursuing his passion with bees. Derek had an interest in bees for many years, but due to job changes and frequent moves, it was not possible to start a hive of his own. Derek and his family were able to relocate to the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, where their living situation finally allowed for multiple beehives. Derek is Washington State-based chemical-free beekeeper who believes bees can and should be kept both chemical and treatment-free. Experiencing 100% beehive loss from CCD or colony collapse disorder, his first year of beekeeping, Derek embarked on an extensive online research campaign to find a natural way to help stop the devastating bee losses from occurring. During the winter months of 2016, Derek came across a unique mineral called shungite. Shungite has been used in medical treatment since the early 18th century and has the ability to block certain frequencies. Enough studies have been published by this point that it was apparent that the many frequencies within our environment, cell phones, mobile if you're in the UK, Wi-Fi, were harming the bee populations and disrupting their navigational systems. While preparing to start new beehives in the spring of 2017, Derek spoke with friends who were also aware of the shungite and its unique healing and frequency blocking qualities. Combining years of online research on natural health and healing remedies, along with his own intuitive abilities, Derek determined that shungite could be beneficial for humans and bees alike. Between his own intuition and those discussions, Derek made the decision to use shungite with his beehives. Initially, 3 small shungite nuggets were placed at one of the beehive entrances. Then he observed in the following weeks, he painted his beehives with a mixture of shungite powder blended into the beehive's paint, providing a blanket of protection around the entire beehive. As the weeks progressed, all the while providing no other treatment of any kind for pest, disease or sickness, the bees flourished. By year's end, the beehive and expanding its total of 4 healthy beehives with no signs of any sickness or disease and none of the dreaded colony collapse disorder that's become so prevalent amongst beekeepers. The 2018 honeybee season was ending in Washington State with similar results as the 2017, no sickness, disease, or losses in any of the Shungite beehives. Derek's goal is to continue the research and share their experience with beekeepers worldwide in hopes of helping to save our struggling bee populations. In addition, taking advantage of their extensive research and broad knowledge on natural health and healing remedies, Derek produced on their premises a broad range of health and beauty products, many using their beehives, honey, and other organic components. These products are sold through their website and other marketing channels, thus helping sustain their beehive operation. And Derek's website is Mystical Wares, and I suggest that your listeners go and have a look. And now I would like to welcome Derek. Welcome, Derek, to Navigating the Truth.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate it.
Oh, so where do you want to dive in? Where are you? Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, I know that you have progressed in your research and now you do waters, right? Like, is it hydrosol?
Oh, yeah. They're called floral waters or hydrosols. Basically, you can think of them as like a natural and they are organic replacement for incense and toxic candles and things like that, because there's a lot of chemicals that are built in those with glues. So that's what I've been using structured water or living water, and then passing the frequency and the essence of different flavors in there, from cedar to Palo Santo and lavender and whatnot.
Yeah, and I also I had listened to a podcast that you had done. You can even use this as perfume. Like I heard somebody saying that it's good to use as like a perfume, like a body spray.
Yeah, you can. A long time ago, a couple hundred years ago, it started. I guess the first one you can kind of compare it to would be called a Florida water, and I do make a version of that too. But our organic hydrosols that I actually distill myself, we do because I'm just hyper aware of energies. We can kind of loosely call it that just to get the ball going, but that means down to the molecular level, and the water molecules matter too because they hold energy. So with that understanding, I kind of start from there, and then again we structure the water, and bring it up with organic ingredients, and then you have a water which is completely. I have one sitting right next to me, so if you were to see it for the listeners, it's just a white, looks like pure water, but it does smell like whichever ingredient I use, like cedar or whatnot. And it's like a replacement for incense. So you can spray it on yourself or your dog bed or your furniture.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it clears energies too. So that's the whole purpose of it, is it's again, like an organic smudging way because of those toxins in different glues and sometimes the wicks of candles, believe it or not. Yeah, so that's what I was all about. So that's why we got into that. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, I want to go back to the beehives. So, working with the bees, that must be incredibly rewarding. That must feel really satisfying to be working amongst bees. I can imagine that. I love bees.
Exactly. And then you're saying feel and imagine, Caroline. You got it right on the money, because that is it. The feeling there, and it's, yes, of course, frequency and energy and all those layers of reality. And the bees do cross over, and you can call it other densities. So yeah, the energy when you're around them, and I don't need to wear a bee suit any longer or anything like that when we do work with them, because there's an understanding and just a frequency between us. So it is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and also the beehive itself, how they build it, it's a geometric structure. It's and it reminds me of the buckyballs, that whole structure.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. And that's, of course, if you visualize the honeycomb that you can get in a honeybee hive, those little cells that are called in there are hexagon shapes. So they're little six-sided shapes. Yeah, and of course, you're going to already know this, but Bees didn't do that randomly. They don't switch it up either. And they've been around the block a little while. They've been here a lot longer than us. So they understand some of these structures or containers of the universe, hence the hexagon shape. And then as you're talking about, for the listeners here, what I'm going to talk about is one of the molecular shapes found within the mineral shungite that we use on the beehives. And that's a buckyball or fullerene. It's a little soccer ball that's made of hexagons and pentagons, of course. And that's not lost to me either. And in some circles, Caroline, they'll, if you're science-minded, they'll call it platonic solids. If you're getting more into the metaphysical, sacred geometry. But it's one of many shapes that we can benefit by understanding. So yeah, the little hexagon wasn't lost in the bees.
No, definitely not. Now, I have a question about the shungite. Now, you say that it comes from Russia. Are you having any trouble obtaining the shungite ever since what's been going over there?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'll kind of admit that I cheated a little bit because I am intuitive. So let's just say I bought for this kind of issue. So I've got our supply, which is why we can still gift free shungite nuggets and powder to beekeepers across the planet. And they can find that form on our website, as you mentioned earlier. But no, so we're not having a problem because we're not really having a resupply, but I can still answer your question. I do go out there and I have distributors and I go to different large mineral shows, and it is going up in price. That is a thing. So I don't really know if it's still coming out of Russia, but I'll tell you what is coming out is being more limited and raised in price, as typically would happen in this situation. But us personally, we actually went directly to the mine many years ago, and we interact with them. So we got a direct shipment from them and a large supply. So us and the beekeepers are all good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know why, but my mind kind of jumped to, do you remember that episode when Putin handed that soccer ball to Trump?
Oh, no, I must have missed that. Interesting.
This was a few years back when Trump was still president. For some reason, that jumped into my mind when you were talking about the soccer ball, because there was a lot of speculation about that soccer ball. Like they were saying it had the codes to the nuclear bombs, but I don't know. I'm starting to think something else now. That kind of triggered something else in my head.
Yeah, I kind of describe that buckyball, and again for the listeners, it's called a buckyball or a fullerene or a C60 molecule or soccer ball. But I see that as an energy container, so a metaphysical energy container. Because of course, real quickly, but a glass. So in 3D reality, water is one form of energy, and that energy works a whole lot better in a container called a glass. So using that same understanding with metaphysical energies and things, we can say that's where the buckyball comes in. It holds those etheric energies well. So I think there was a lot more to the story, like you're alluding to.
Yeah, I think so. And the fact that shungite comes from Russia, it just kind of made my mind kind of go, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some artificial stuff coming out, by the way, of shungite in different places. That's not shungite, and I've done some tests online, even puts a torch to it showing.
I saw that. Yeah. It was coming from Brazil, and it was all chipping away.
Oh, I had to put a whole mask on when I first did that little behind-the-scenes chat here. I wasn't expecting that, so I had a little tiny piece, heated it up, saw that it was kind of exploding. We're talking about a fake type of shungite called Colombian rainbow shungite or something similar to that. And it's not true elite or noble shungite from Karelia, Russia. And then again, I hit the torch and it started sharding everywhere, shooting at me. So then I had to glove up and put a mask on, and for the video you saw.
Yeah. So, is there shungite? Can it be found anywhere else on the planet?
That's not shungite, and that's a tough thing to answer because, of course, the name shungite comes from Shunga. So think of a province or county in Russia. So Shunga, that's hence the name shungite.
Okay.
But what really is the magic of it is the C60, the fullerenes within the shungite, and those aren't being found in the quantities as they are in the original mine in Karelia, Russia. So yes, there are other deposits of different minerals throughout the world in different places, but not with the same percentages. And I'll just straight up say energy that one has on
Mhm.
lots of levels. So it just varies, and sometimes it's I'm trying to think of, I don't really mess. I was going to mess it up, but there's another name for those type of deposits. But
Okay.
yeah, so nothing like shungite, but just some false ones that are similar, and they don't work the same energetically.
Mhm. Well, it also like kind of brings me to like the whole idea that we are provided for. You know, that for every problem there is a solution. That we are being hit by frequencies, but you have come across a solution. Like you're saving the bee colony by your research. So it's almost like if we look hard enough here, we have the solutions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like that's so I used to kind of the analogy, all the ingredients are there for the answer, the recipe. We just have to get creative. And that's
Hmm.
what we did. We took, for example, you mentioned the Shanghai beehive. So then as we talked in the front, or you read in the front, ex-military. So I have some understanding of,
Hmm.
and it was a synchronicity, Faraday cages. So,
Right.
yeah, blocking frequencies from this, that, and the other. So I tied that understanding to the bees and minerals, and I'm an old rock hound or gold prospector my whole life too with my dad. So that wasn't random. That was a synchronicity in life.
Hmm.
So I grab all those breadcrumbs of life, put them together and make that loaf of bread. And I realized, hey, blend the shungite powder in paint the exterior of the beehives, put some nuggets in the front. They now get to earth and ground because these little energy beings, the bees, are flying through those harmful frequencies that have been proven not to be not only not good for them or us, but harmful. So
Very harmful.
and that's
Yeah.
the environment they're running in. We get at least walk around in the ground and ground out or earth every once in a while. The bees are going from A to, not pun not intended, from A to
Hmm.
B, from the flowers and coming back without that, because they never had to before, because we weren't
Right.
throwing all these frequencies up in there and making the pathway or the road signs that they follow, the energies, disruptive, so they get lost, which leads to colony collapse disorder.
Yeah. I saw the video where your beehives, where they were literally just walking right over the shungite. Like they were all kind of, yeah, they were like, okay, like time to kind of, and that for them is them grounding, like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
but
because I'm
yeah,
pretty good, but I didn't teach them to do that for the photo op.
no.
Right?
Did you not?
No, I'm not that good. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's great. I love bees. Like, what a life, to be a bee.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Right? Like, you're not supposed to fly, but you can,
Uh-huh.
and you just go from flower to flower to flower. Like, yeah,
Exactly. And
pollinating and keeping the world going. They actually are very, very important.
that's exactly right. And that's why and add on, if you watch that video or somewhere on our Shungite Beehives page within Mystical Ware's website, is a spot where I show you an image where I put little trays of Shungite powder
Hmm.
entrance. Okay, well, when we're sitting here talking about the bees going out to the flowers, well, that's why we do that, because these little powder, there's a whole negative electron charge to the bee and the powder's reversed. So basically the bees walk through, particles of powder stick to their little furry legs. They
Hmm.
fly out with that, their own little shungite pendants in essence. And now they're not only, let's say, armored, I like to use that term, but that powder falls off. And by the way, it has been scientifically proven that shungite has an effect on glyphosate, which is Roundup weed killer, and
Mm.
rad particles, which is radiation,
Hmm.
all of which is in our environment. So these little bees are grabbing shungite, distributing it for us, helping everybody.
Wow. Wow. That is so cool. So it's having a knock-on effect. It's just like it's going out like a wave.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then the shungite works, it's a frequency thing, not a size thing or a volume thing, meaning you don't
Hmm.
have to have a 5-pound bowling ball size of shungite to have an effect. You can have a little particle, like I'm talking about with the bees, to have an effect. I like to use the analogy or description that, if you have a radio in the room, it doesn't get any lower in volume when somebody enters the room. It's not a takeaway thing.
Hmm.
It's the same thing with shungite. So a small little piece can have an effect. So that's the beauty of the particles coming off out in the fields that we keep spraying often with chemicals.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like you said it had been used in like healing in the 1800s. Like what type of healing were they using it for?
The same thing we're doing
Same
now.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for structuring the water, and I'm bringing it back to, it's called living water or M state water. Basically, they would put the water in the soldiers of the times containers, and then it would, again, I know air quotes here you can't see, energize the water, because of course we're talking about metaphysical things that you can't see typically, but scientifically proven, and that's Dr. Emoto and many others work past that.
Yeah. That we affect the structure of water, that we can affect it in a very positive way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By love it, love the water.
And you're made of water. Remember, we're 80% water, depending how dehydrated we are. And that can be structured or affected as well by your thoughts and imagination and feelings.
Yeah. And same with food. I mean, like this conversation that we're having, like things could just change in an instant. You know, just with the right, the right frequency. It could actually, everything could change in an instant.
Oh, of course. And, some places they'll call that miracle. Sometimes they'll call it a placebo effect. It's either way, we're energy beings having a physical experience. And if we wake up and realize that and remember, then you can affect it, because you're only 10% physical, 90% metaphysical. I say have fun with metaphysical. That's where all the fun is.
That is where all the fun is. It really is. I think I can feel it. I feel it. I feel when energy changes. I feel like when, something might not be quite right, to move it out of the way. I feel it. I do. I feel it.
Oh, absolutely. And what's odd is in these last couple of years, I've been literally feeling it physically as well. So the metaphysical stuff, for some reason, I can't explain it. Maybe the densities are merging, but I can actually feel it tangibly. And that's kind of an odd sensation, but it's not fun too.
It is. And I get excited, I'm sitting here kind of motioning and clapping my hands here. I get really excited when I think about the possibilities and where we are heading, the way forward, like-minded people who are just opening their eyes and they're taking their power. Absolutely. Yep. Expanding together. Yeah. I think that's the way. I think that's the way forward for us, is we have to come together. That's how we'll get the big stuff done. No, absolutely. And then just waking up together and remembering, that we are all connected and we're better, just like you said, together as a team. Yeah. And I've even had this conversation with other people, it's good to disagree. This is how we learn. We can get through I don't know about you, Derek, but there was a time I loved discussions like that. I really enjoyed learning about something by disagreeing with it to begin with, Absolutely. Then you question, and then you get more insight to it. So that's exactly where I go at it. Change is always good. Oh, yeah. Continue to change. Absolutely. Well, we are changing. Oh, we're coming up on a break. So for the listeners, if you have a question for Derek, type it in, KCOR Digital Radio, and we will be right back after this break.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
I just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
Come be a part of this awakening by joining us in chat or by calling our hotline at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers, find us on Skype at KCOR Radio.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here.
Control must be maintained.
More disinformation exposed and the truth discovered. After a word from our sponsors.
1 million miles till midnight. A story of timelines, artificial worlds, simulated races, and the galactic imprint, and the destiny of a blue world called Earth. 1 million miles till midnight, written by Solaris Blue Raven, is a journey through the mind's eye which allows the reader to surf a wave of technological and multidimensional intellect, revealing a bridge between conscious design and the truth. A multidimensional bleed-through awakens the world of artificial intelligence to set sail into the frontiers of a vast multiverse, morphing planets and terraforming ascended worlds beyond the linear programs of a fated race. 1 million miles till midnight will awaken, inspire, prepare, and enlighten one to the many multidimensional states of consciousness and worlds we reside in. With every cell and atom, we are this truth and multiverse. 1 million miles till midnight. Written by Solaris Blue Raven. Available now at Amazon.com. Don't wait. Get your copy today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I love the way it sounds.
Love the music. I listen all day.
The future of radio is here and now.
Alien Deceptions, a suspenseful sci-fi romance thriller by Tina Marie, featuring the tantalizing Erica Jones and the mysterious Russell Hamilton. An out-of-this-world book of fiction based on years of document facts and files the government does not want you to know about, at least not yet. Alien Deceptions by Tina Marie. Available now at Amazon.com or get a signed copy at TinaMarieEntertainment.com. Get your copy now.
Change your frequency, change your life with the Lemurian plug. The Lemurian plug is easy to control, it's simple to set up, and wireless. It helps to neutralize toxins and has restorative frequencies for healing. It also helps to protect you and your family from EMFs. The Lemurian plug is energy efficient and designed using ancient technology for a superior design. One unit can cover up to 1,000 square feet. This life-changing product is reasonably priced. And isn't you and your family's health worth a small investment? For more information on the miraculous effects of this plug or to purchase the Lemurian plug, visit thelumerianplug.com. That's thelumerianplug.com. The Lemurian plug is like nothing you've ever experienced. Order yours today.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas is #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety. Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome back to Navigating the Truth, and I have a lovely guest, Derek Condit. And we have been discussing shungite and bees. And during the break, I got a question from Chrononaut Bill. And the question is for Derek. It says, when handling honey, why is it better to use wooden utensils over metal?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. And actually, to add on to that, not even just honey, whenever, and it kind of ties back to so think your glandular system. I know it sounds like, whoa, way off topic here, but our glands, our thyroid and our throats and things like that, and your parathyroids, they accumulate metals and things like that. And those can do all types of things to us. And that's a whole nother podcast probably. But yes, there is metal that transfers over. And then, well, actually tying into the honey, Metal also holds a frequency, just like honey does. So honey is programmable. Anything crystalline is programmable in this 3D, we'll call it reality or matrix. So it's something that you can program, and that can be yourself, that can be a cup of water or honey. And I'll tell you a little add-on. I don't know that I've talked about this before, but depending on where the metal is manufactured and what it's manufactured for and where that metal maybe got recycled from, there is energy or frequency that carries with that, and it does pass into other, again, whatever that metal turns into. So I'd say always, I mean, that's why we kind of, the first half of the hour there, we talked about, or I mentioned we're 10% physical, 90% metaphysical. So that metaphysical are the frequencies and energies around you that you are as well. And that's the invisible part of this reality that is also around metal utensils. So I wouldn't, that's one reason, but, and then also just think of it from the, again, a physical perspective, we have little tongues. They're like little sandpapers. And when we put metal spoons and things in our mouth, it takes off small particles that comes through. We then get that metal sitting in us. Yeah. And
Wow.
There's a lot. And well, in adding one last add-on to that, Caroline, is that metal, I'll tell you, our glandular system and our guts are one or two of the ways that we connect metaphysically. So that's something there. And I'll tell you, the metals in those systems that do respond to frequencies in our environment is a big deal. So it's kind of like messing with your metaphysical antenna within this vehicle. So it's hard to connect then if we have what's called metal toxicity poisoning.
Yeah. Heavy metals. Yep. In the bloodstream and whatnot. Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what about silver? Like a silver spoon would be different, right?
Yeah, silver, and that's actually what we make what's called our shungite water beads from. So you'd want the shungite for structuring. Silver has I'll say a biocompatible frequency or energy to it, not to mention that it also has an effect on harmful bacteria and viruses here in 3D. So yeah, you can do silver, and that's another way is, something called colloidal silver, and I make that too, which is, little silver particles suspended, hopefully in a structured or living water. And by the way, I've never seen it that way except ours, because again, the water matters. We're 81% water, so you don't just get water from the tap and drink it. But yeah, so silver's one beneficial metal, but make sure you have, pure silver. And sometimes people say, well, wait, we need copper, so I'm going to eat out of a copper pan. But I'll tell you, that copper, or in what's called cast iron pans, so the iron ones, is not biocompatible iron or copper. It's not in the form or size or type that your body can use. So it's not necessarily a great thing. And when we use those metal utensils that Chrononaut Bill was talking about with honey, we're often scraping those things on the pans. Metal on metal takes off pieces, so we get more metal in our food every time.
Yeah, not to mention Teflon, right? For the non-stick pans.
Well, Teflon actually causes cancer.
Yep.
So, and then so I guess ceramics are one way. There's different types of ceramic pans out there. Of course, look at each one.
Thank you for listening to Navigating the Truth. And if you would like to listen to the rest of the interview, please go to kcrradio.com, and the archives are free. Thank you.